Welcome back, guys and girls. Today I'm going to do a very quick review of a fragrance I tried for the first time this year, several months ago now, and I've worn it several times. First time I tried the Eau de Parfum version, which I thought was amazing as well, but when I did smell it on my skin, it was very heavy, and it's also a little bit more feminine leaning than this version, I find. I'm talking about Tom Ford's Black Orchid. This is the Eau de Toilette version that I'm reviewing. I've got my little decant here. I will be getting a bottle of this because I enjoy it a lot. So I just want to talk about maybe trying to describe what this is like to wear, and I'll do a very short comparison to the EDP. I think there's a bit more going on in the EDP, which I find makes it a little bit harder for me to wear. The Eau de Toilette for me is perfect, because I don't find it as heavy, it doesn't project quite as much as the EDP, and I think it's a little bit more unisex than the Black Orchid EDP. So the Eau de Toilette version of Black Orchid was released in 2015. I believe the original was released in 2006. I'll run the notes across the screen as per usual. I've got a Drydown happening on one hand, and I will spray the opening here. So what I get immediately is this combination of ripe fruit combined with some heady florals. Now, I think one of the notes in this fragrance is a Black Orchid Accord. I don't know if you can get, pretty sure you can't get actual Black Orchid Absolute or Essential Oil or whatever single essence you can get from a Black Orchid. There is some kind of accord created there. There is that opening starts off quite fruity, not so much tart fruitiness, but already with some ripe fruitiness. Definitely some kind of heady floral. But then what happens is it transitions into this kind of earthy development, and so when I say earthy, I don't mean dirty earthy. Like it's almost like a sweet mud kind of accord to me. It could be this truffle note or mushroomy note, although I don't associate what I'm smelling with mushrooms that I use in cooking or eat. So what I'm trying to describe when I'm talking about a clean mud is it's not so much the mud you'd find out that's just wet dirt in your garden. It's more like the kind of lovely smelling mud you might find in a day spa or in a face mask, that kind of thing. But it's obviously helped along by the gorgeous floral notes that are in here, that lovely ripe fruit. So then essentially what happens in the Drydown for me, even though there are more notes than this, really the main thing I get in the Drydown is some lovely velvety vanilla layered over some creamy woody notes, probably sandalwood. And I don't get really much else in the base. on my skin. This doesn't get very smoky. It doesn't get too floral, and a couple of times I did try the EDP. There was a lot more of that going on. The EDP just seemed very busy to me, whereas the older Toilette version of Black Orchid, for me, just works perfectly. The one thing I will say about this is, it seems to me that it's a pretty simple composition, and when I talk about composition, I mean that you get some fragrances that are like if you liken them to a piece of fabric, some fragrances are like lace. So you get some beautiful, intricate things happening, and then you get space and light. And those fragrances are wonderful as well, because the things are always happening and changing with the skin, with the environment. With Black Orchid, I liken it to slipping on something that's just like a beautiful plush, thick black textured velvet. So there is no breathing room. There is no room for space. All these wonderful thick notes like converge on each other just to create this layer of fragrant solidness over your skin. And what it does to your skin is turn it into, the best way I can describe it is to turn it into something carnal, and it is gorgeous smelling. When I wear this, I really enjoy smelling myself, and I haven't had anyone comment on how I smell when I've worn Black Orchid. I'm wearing it less and less because it's warming up, because this definitely, I think, really shines in colder weather. I think projection is just moderate. Longevity is great. You'll smell this on your skin up to 10 hours at least, and after that I stop counting. But it's not loud. It's not as loud as its older sister or older brother. The Black Orchid EDT by Tom Ford is sensual. It's sexy. To me, it's very unisex. If you're a guy and you're thinking about whether you should try it, or you've only tried the EDP and not felt it was for you, definitely try and give the Eau de Toilette a try, because you might like it. It works on my skin. So Black Orchid EDT by Tom Ford, give it a go. Full bottle coming up for me in 2018. I hope you guys are have had a great festive season and enjoy your new year. See you soon.